They're lying to you, again. You heard the official report. You heard the political promise that inflation will plummet. But let me ask you a painful question. If inflation is falling, why does your shopping cart keep getting lighter while your bank account empties faster and faster? The truth no one dares to say on TV is that the system doesn't want you to understand the difference between rate and price. They celebrate a drop from 4% to 3% while you struggle to pay the rent. They want you to believe the solution is simple. Work more, work overtime, get a second job. But here's the brutal reality. Working more won't save you. In fact, the more you run on that treadmill, the more the ground moves backward. You're trying to put out a forest fire with a glass of water, while the government throws gasoline in your backyard. If you received a 2% raise and the real inflation rate is 5%, congratulations, you just received a pay cut and were induced to be grateful for it. In this video, I'm going to destroy the myth of physical effort and show you why your sweat is being stolen by a system designed to reward the owners and punish those who are just employees. If you're tired of being a victim of this game, this is the most important video you'll see this year. Take advantage now and subscribe to the channel. I'm not here to give you comforting news, I'm here to give you the tools to survive what's coming. Click the button and activate the bell, because the system relies on your misinformation to continue profiting. You feel like you're doing everything right, don't you? You wake up early, work hard, save what you can. And at the end of the month, you feel like you're losing the race. This isn't paranoia, it's behavioral mathematics. The system was built so that your physical effort fuels someone else's wealth. While you trade hours of your life for pieces of paper that lose value every second, the real players are using inflation to multiply what they own. They love inflation because it transfers wealth from the pockets of those who work to the pockets of those who own assets. And the worst part, they've convinced you that it's your fault for not working hard enough. But it's not your fault, it's the system's design. And you realize that the extra $50 you earned disappeared before you even touched it. Do you know why this happens? Because you are a victim of the mathematics of modern slavery. The reported inflation rate is 4.2%, your increase was 2.8%. In school, we were taught that 2.8 is a gain. In real life, 2.8 minus 4.2 equals you becoming 1.4% per every year. This isn't a flaw in the system, it's its design. The financial system was built so that your time, the only thing you never get back, is devalue as you exchange it for money. While you focus on working harder to cover the hole, inflation digs the hole deeper. It's a race you can't win using only your muscles. Think about it. If you have $10,000 saved and inflation is 4%, at the end of the year you still have the same $10,000 on paper, but it only buys what $9,600 could buy before. Someone just stole $400 from your hard work without even touching your pocket. They stole your time. They stole the hours you spent away from your family to earn that money. And what does the government do? They print more money, which generates more inflation, which makes you need to work even harder. It's an endless cycle of debt servitude and devaluation. Working more is the solution the system sells you to keep the machine running. If you work more, you produce more for the owners of the assets and pay more taxes to the government. You are the fuel, but for you, the result is exhaustion. Inflation is a silent tax on those who work and a transfer of wealth to those who own it. If your only source of income is your sweat, you are losing the war against inflation before you even leave home. The math doesn't lie. In the wake of inflation, those who only walk end up falling behind. You need to learn how to jump off the treadmill. You know that box of laundry detergent that used to weigh 1 kilo and now weighs 800 grams for the same price? Or the package of cookies that now has fewer pieces? On paper, the price hasn't gone up, so official inflation doesn't register it. But in practice, you're paying more for less. It's the system taking food off your table without you realizing it. The second blow hits those who need it most, retirees. If you're on Social Security, you received a 2.8% adjustment, but what they don't shout on the news is that Medicare costs have risen by almost 10%. The government gives you $50 with one hand and takes $100 with the other through taxes and healthcare costs. You're not just standing still, you're being pushed back while they tell you to be grateful for the raise. And it doesn't stop there. Oil went up because the Strait of Hormuz closed. This doesn't just increase the price of gasoline, It increases the price of fertilizer that makes food grow. It increases the price of diesel for the truck that delivers your package. Every conflict in the Middle East is a direct tax levied on you, the average American, who has nothing to do with the war. They tell you this is temporary, that as soon as the war is over, everything will go back to normal. Lies. Prices that have risen rarely come down. They just stop rising so quickly. The system counts on your short memory. They want you to get used to the new normal of being poor every day. The invisible theft is the system's most powerful tool to keep you working harder and harder to sustain a disappearing standard of living. If you don't understand how money is destroyed, you'll never understand how it's built. It's 2026, and what we see are Americans with $100,000 degrees working to jobs just to pay student loan interest and rent. Formal education taught you to be an excellent employee, but it left you illiterate about how money really works. It prepared you to trade your time for a salary, but forgot to tell you that salary is the first thing inflation devours. This is the big trap. You focus on increasing your income through bonds and certificates, while the system's owners focus on accumulating assets. Income is what you earn today, is spent tomorrow. Assets are what work for you while you sleep. If you don't own anything that appreciates with inflation like stocks, real estate, or businesses, you're just the fuel keeping other people's fires burning. Your degree got you a job, but your lack of financial education gave you a life sentence in the wake of inflation. They reward you for being a good worker and punish you for not being an investor. If you're starting to understand that the game was designed for you to lose, leave an I get it in the comments and like this video. This helps bring this truth to more Americans who are still running on the treadmill without knowing why. Comment below. Do you feel your degree truly protected you from the crisis, or is it just another bill to pay? Freedom doesn't come from your paycheck, it comes from your ability to own the machines that generate profit. In the system we live in, you are rewarded for being an owner and punished for being merely a user. While you take pride in your job title, the investor takes pride in their portfolio. A job can be cut on a Monday afternoon. An asset portfolio is what ensures your family will have food to eat, no matter who is in the White House or what the inflation rate is for the month. The secret that separates the Americans who are being crushed by this inflation report from those who are quietly getting richer. While you panic about the price of oil or the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, the professional investor is smiling. Why? Because he knows that inflation is actually a tailwind for those who own the right assets. When the price of things goes up, the profits of the companies that sell those things also go up. When the cost of construction increases, the value of existing properties skyrockets. The investor doesn't fight inflation, he rides it. The strategy I use, and that you need to adopt today, is called AB. Always be buying or always be buying. The layman tries to beat the market, he tries to guess when Trump will lower prices or when the war will end. The intelligent investor knows that time in the market beats market time. You don't need $100,000 to start. You need $10 and consistency. The AB strategy consists of setting aside a percentage of your hard-earned money every week, whether it's $10, $100, or $1,000, and converting that dwindling money into growing assets. You buy stocks of companies that dominate the market. You buy real estate investment trusts, REITs. You buy gold to protect your purchasing power. You do this every week, rain or shine, high or low inflation. Why does this work? Because in 10 years, inflation will not have disappeared. It will have continued its work of destroying the value of the dollar. A decade from now, do you want to be on the side of those who own the machines that generate profit, or on the side of those who are still trying to pay the rent with a salary that hasn't kept up with the cost of living? The system is brutal, but it's predictable. It rewards financial education and punishes ignorance. The investor understands that crises are clearance sales. When the market falls due to fear of inflation, the ABB investor buys more aggressively because he is a long-term buyer. He is not focused on today's price, but on tomorrow's value. You were taught to save, but saving in an inflationary environment is slow financial suicide. You need to invest. The AB strategy is your life raft. It's the only way to ensure that your hard work today translates into real freedom tomorrow, instead of just paying the bills of a system that wants to keep you on the treadmill forever. The code has been delivered. The question is, Will you continue to be the fuel, or will you start to own it? It's the mechanism the system uses to ensure you continue working, producing, and serving, while the value of your effort is transferred to those who understand the rules of the game. You can spend the rest of your life complaining about the price of gasoline or waiting for the next politician to save your paycheck, but history shows us that this has never happened and never will. The only person who can save your financial future is you, through your financial education and your courage to stop being just a worker and start being an owner. Today's inflation report was a warning. For most, it was a warning that hard times are coming. For the few who are financially literate, it was a warning that the greatest wealth transfer opportunities of our generation are knocking at the door. Which of these two groups will you choose? The side that is devoured by inflation, or the side that gets richer with it? The choice is yours, but remember, in the current economic system, ignorance is the most expensive price you will pay. Start today, start small, but start now. Time is your greatest asset or your worst enemy. Don't let it work against you. If this video opened your eyes to the brutal reality of our system, leave a like and share it with someone who still believes that working more is the only way out. Comment below which of these truths shocked you the most today. And if you want to understand exactly how the government uses technology and AI to accelerate this inflationary process, watch this video. It's playing on the screen now. In it, I delve into what's to come and how you can position yourself before it's too late. Thanks for watching and see you at the next level.